Hello everybody, it's Rose here with your weekly tarot messages at Butterfly Soul Tarot. Hello and welcome. So these are your messages for the upcoming 7 days, Monday the 23rd of April 2018 through to Sunday the 29th of April 2018. So this week, when I've done the review here of the cards, it still feels as though change is in the air. We might be able to sense that, we might be able to sense the energy of we're about to go forward, but it feels like we're still on the threshold or the verge of it a little bit. And as often happens, we may need to still be doing some clearing and releasing in order to move forward this week. So I'll move on to the first card in my elemental spread, which as always is the spirit element. And what I'm really drawn to here this week is the cup that is being held there. So we've got the Page of Cups there, and it's you know, I was really drawn to that sense of the cup being held. It feels a little bit, because it's a page, it's almost like a childlike energy, and children often tend to be very open. So as we're going into the week, we might find that spiritually we're more open, we might be receiving more messages. We may feel as though something has shifted, like we've shifted a layer, and that might bring us more spiritual clarity. What I feel is being held within the cup, my sense of it, is our own sense of inner knowing and inner wisdom. And we might need to use this week to feel our way through. If things don't feel as though they're as clear as they could be, or as cut and dried as they could be, if we can't see a clear path. So we may very well have to turn inward quite a bit this week and trust that we're holding our own inner knowledge and wisdom. It's almost like a sense of our own inner compass and our own inner guide. We may need to turn to that more this week than what's going on outside of us. And again, feels like we're on a threshold, which was a similar card to what we had in this position last week as well. The fire element this week is the Hermit. Okay, so the Hermit energy almost feels like a dampened down, although he's holding the fire there, as you can see in his lamp there, so the fire is there. It feels more reserved, and as though we might be conserving our energy and our inner resources a little bit this week. So that might happen naturally. We may need to be mindful of doing that. Also, there was a sense of either needing to or being mindful of focusing our energy on our own needs as well, and perhaps needing to spend time alone, as the Hermit would suggest, to replenish our energy, to build it back up again. But I get that it's not an imposed thing. I get that there's maybe a really strong sense for a lot of us to just do that, and I think this is a signal to follow that, if that makes sense to you at all. So the next card in the elemental spread is air. So this can be about our communication and our thinking, and this week we have the Ace of Pentacles. Really drawn to how big this pentacle feels on this ace. So aces can be new beginnings, so it could literally be that we're pondering a new beginning somewhere. I get the sense that in our minds we might be laying plans, and I've just got an image of also writing stuff down as well, and sowing seeds for or thinking about how we're going to sow seeds for perhaps a new venture or a longer term venture. There may also be with this that it appears that through the week there may be one particular theme or one particular element of our lives, again, that is demanding our attention or our focus. But what we may find is that this thing is the foundation of everything else. So for example, because it's a practical card, it might be an offer to do with work, for example, but of course this might underpin everything else that we want to do. So I'll just use that as an example. We might find that a particular theme or thing is holding our attention, but if we look at that bigger picture, we might see how it weaves into everything else. And it's just a case, I think, of thinking about how we're going to move forward, how we're going to work this, how we're going to sow some seeds. So that would be my sense with that one. Next one is water, which is the emotional element. Okay, and for this one this week we have the Eight of Swords. So you can see quite clearly she's looking as though she's trapped and bound. She has a blindfold on. She can't see her way out of the situation. And what I actually feel that this might be this week is that we might find, I'm being given particularly towards the end of the week, that we might feel as though we've got a lot of emotions that have built up. And I feel the suggestion from this card is, because often in this card she is under the illusion that she can't move, or in this case under the illusion that we may not be able to express ourselves in a positive way, is my feeling with it, and express our feelings in a positive way. It is an illusion, because if she took the blindfold off, she'd see her way through. So my sense with this card, with the emotions this week, is we might have a build-up of emotion but can't see a way of expressing it in a positive way. Okay, but the sense of this is that we really need to look for doing that. So this can be through creativity, it can be through exercise, it can be through speaking, but speaking from the heart. So it's almost like I feel we're under the illusion somewhere that we might have to contain our feelings. If you can't deal with the situation directly and express feelings there, it's saying you can find a way to do it, but just be inventive. And I'm almost getting like letting off steam, or almost getting a pressure cooker feeling where emotions might have built up, but find that positive way to channel them through and to let them go. And the final element this week is the earth element. So this is around our practical, could be work matters or money matters, at home matters, anything like that. It could also be about being just anything to do with being human, okay, because it is that practical earth element. This week we have the Queen of Cups, which again, cups can be, you know, kind of that emotional card. And the sense that I had from it was, I was wondering if some of us are dealing with this week with a particular area of human life that we are quite attached to, but we may need to consider letting go of. Okay, and I feel there's a message here. I almost want to reverse her, because emotions have their place, but I feel that on the practical front this week we need to be more practical thinking than emotional thinking, and we may actually have to think about letting something go on a practical level in order to help the bigger picture. Even though we might be sentimentally attached, the best thing that we can do is let this thing go, even though it might be very difficult to do so. We might have to just hold our hands up and say, this is really difficult. I also wanted to add here, this may even be around our physical bodies. There may need to be some acceptance in the self-care element, where we need to let something go because it serves our physical selves. And I guess that would be the message, but this might invoke some emotion. But as I say, I think the idea with that is to remind ourselves of the bigger picture, and again, the longer term goal that we might be focusing on here. And the overview card for this week is the Two of Cups. So often a meaning with this card can be about relationships and meeting someone, but actually I feel this card feels to me as though it's about the two sides of our self. One word that is coming to mind with this card this week is the word cooperation. Cooperating with ourselves to make the bigger picture happen, to bring about longevity with something. Cooperating with ourselves to release emotion. How can we find the best way to do that? Compromise, again, with this card, there may be a compromise involved somewhere so that the bigger picture is free to proceed. rather than stretching my energy this week. The compromise might be, actually, I'm going to take some time out for myself, even though there might be part of us that's resisting doing that. There could be compromise in a work situation. Balance. Twos are also about balance here. Here we have something about emotional balance. We need to find healthy ways perhaps of releasing certain emotions in order to bring about balance within ourselves and perhaps into the environment with us as well. And again, as I said earlier, kind of taking that time to replenish our energy. And again, connection is another word that comes here. Connection with that inner spiritual wisdom that we hold, and to kind of maybe become the hermit with our energy, tune into ourselves to actually help us navigate through the week. So as I say, it feels, as I said at the beginning, it feels as though we are on the verge. We've got two new beginnings here. Pages can be new beginnings. It feels like he's standing on a threshold. Aces are new beginnings as well, but it feels like we're not quite there yet. We're still sifting through stuff, working through stuff, having to mind our energy this week in order to move forward into that bigger picture that we have been working to create. Okay, so I hope that has been helpful to you all. It's been a pleasure as always. Blessings and light to you all, and I will see you next week. Take care for now. Thank you. Bye.